So I've been doing a lot of thinking on this topic here, overcoming adversity. And I really had to kind of think about what adversity truly is and how it can change. I already recorded this message, and I felt like I was being led in a different direction with it. I was being called to say something different than what I already said. So no notes, no pre-written dialogue, just gonna kind of let God take over my lips. I may not be speaking in tongues or anything exciting like that, but I'm speaking in His tongue because I feel that every day has adversity. And I was reading in 2 Timothy, 2:23 and 24, and those two little pieces of scripture, those two sentences have so much power and might just be the best chance I have of getting through the day. In verse 23 it says, "Don't have anything to do with foolish and stupid arguments, because you know they produce quarrels. And the Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome, but must be kind to everyone, be able to teach, and not be resentful." Just kind of marinate in that for a second. Just kind of think about it. Don't have anything to do with foolish and stupid arguments, because they produce quarrels. And the Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome, but be kind, be able to teach, not be resentful. How many times are you resentful? How many times does a little bump in the road turn into something just horrible? And when I was thinking about this whole terminology, this whole topic, this whole idea of overcoming adversity, it kind of made me continuously come back to this question. Just one word. Why? What's your why? What is the reason for you overcoming adversity in your life? Because I know you don't want to go to work on Monday morning. And if you're just doing it for yourself, you might call in sick. You might quit. If you're doing it for yourself, you might give 80%. You might not even give that much. What's your why? Why did you slow down and cruise over that speed bump instead of stopping? Why, when you got a flat tire on the way to work because you didn't see the pothole because it was raining all night and it was just a puddle, but now it's a flat tire and you're already running late? Why? Why did you keep going? And I've said it before, I don't even know where I heard this, but faith. Faith is a big thing. Faith is getting dressed when you have no idea where you're going. Faith is not understanding the outcome that's about to happen. Faith is pushing forward and overcoming adversity when sometimes you feel like you shouldn't. And right there in 2 Timothy, don't have anything to do with foolish and stupid arguments, because you know they produce quarrels. How many times after you get that flat tire and you get to work and you see that one person sitting 2 cubicles down or 2 desks down or wherever they're at, or maybe it's even your boss, how many times could they just say one word and just ruin your day? And you sit there and you break a pencil, or you sit there and you get so upset. And if you participate, if you step into that realm, if you get up out of your chair and you say something and participate in a foolish or stupid argument, what would happen? Why do you sit down and bite your tongue? Because you know that they produce quarrels. If you're married, or if you've been married, or if you've been in a relationship, or if you've had anything happen in your life to where somebody said something to you, how many times did you just let it go? Because it's not worth it. How many times should you have let it go? How many relationships have been ruined in your life? How many birthdays have been missed? How many just tears have fallen because you opened up your mouth instead of just letting something go? when you read through the Bible and you read, just about the 3 years that Jesus was doing his ministry before he got up to that cross, when the time was leading up, Jesus didn't want to be hurt. But he had a firm belief and firm faith in his why. He asked the Lord to pass this cup to somebody else. Like, do you think that he wanted to sit there and have whips slash across his back? A crown is meant for a king, but this one had thorns on it, blood dripping down his face like tears. You think that he wanted that? Why did he keep his mouth shut? Because of you. Because of me. Because of my kids. Because of your kids. Because of your family, your problems, and everything else. He wanted to take that burden off of you. So even if we didn't even go any further, and we just focused on verse 23, don't have anything to do with foolish and stupid arguments, I think that your week could be a little bit better. And then it goes on to say, the Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome. Jesus wasn't. Must be kind to everyone. People had a lot of bad things to say about Jesus, but he still caused deaf ears to hear, blind eyes to see. The mute were able to speak. And even though so many people had no clue what was going on, he was able to teach. And he wasn't resentful. He was, is, and will always be, and already knew what was going to happen to him. And still was kind. Told his disciples, one of you is going to betray me. But he still loved them. He was still willing to die for him. That's pretty powerful stuff. Because I don't know about you, but life can be rough, and there can be a lot of adversity. But sometimes that adversity is not always necessarily the obstacle that we perceive it as. If you want to step away from the Bible, if you want to step away from religion, if you want to step away from everything else that is faith-related, God-related, Jesus-related, and just want to look at history, how overcoming adversity and how an obstacle can actually be an opportunity, all you have to do is flip open your history books. You can look at General Eisenhower. They taught about him when I was in school. I'm sure Dwight D. Eisenhower is still in a history book somewhere, whether it's still being taught or not. He was the supreme commander of the Allied Expeditionary Forces back during World War II. And he had a lot of critics. A lot of people used to snipe behind his back and have things to say, just like they did with Jesus. And it made sense that at what they called D-Day, he organized and led the largest amphibious invasion in military history. But right as they were invading, right as the British and U.S. tanks and troops and, 200,000 plus men were rushing up on this beach, they called it Blitzkrieg, which, if you think about football, that's where the word blitz comes from. But they were rushing this beach, and it's kind of an amazing story, and I don't feel it's really depicted in movies or anything like it should, because they ran into problems. It wasn't just super simple. No. Bushes, hedges, caused everything to slow down. These French hedges slowed down the British and U.S. tanks and troops. And the Germans, the Nazis, they're rushing out, and they're gonna just throw the Allies back into the sea and essentially just cement the Nazi occupation of Europe. It would have been over and done. But that's not how it went down. General Eisenhower made an announcement to all his troops. He said, and I quote, "This present situation is to be regarded as an opportunity for us and not a disaster." And he commanded that there would only be cheerful faces at this conference table, because it's not over. There is an obstacle. There are bushes that are slowing us down. There are things that are getting in our way. But let's use them instead of fearing them. They use these hedges almost like a flank. So when the Nazis, when the Germans, when they came rushing out, they didn't even see it coming. They thought they were rushing into a battle they had already won. But the obstacle, those hedges, now served as cover, now served as a way to flank, now served as a way to be used as an opportunity instead of an obstacle. It's pretty amazing. You can find all throughout history and everything that obstacles are not always obstacles. Sometimes it's just about our perception. Sometimes we have to just remember the why. We have to remember why we're doing something, why we're moving on. Because like I said before, if it's all about you, you're not going to give your all. You have to be selfless. You have to be a Lord's servant. You can't be quarrelsome, you can't get upset, you can't get resentful, you can't do any of that. You've just got to move on. Sometimes you just got to let go. Because, in all honesty, it's up to you how your day goes. So definitely, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this was uplifting, helpful. And just thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry it took me a while to get back on the air. I had some health issues I had to take care of, had to take a week or so off. So that way I would actually be able to continue talking. So, God bless y'all. I love you. Thank you for all your support. Be happy. Overcome some adversity.